Hey everybody, it's Chad from Six Blog. It's been a while. It's been a long while since I've done a video, especially a gear related type video. It's probably been about a year or so since I've done one now. Many people that may keep up with me knows that last year I attempted to hike the JMT. Long story short, I didn't end up completing that hike the way that I had originally planned it. And to be quite honest, I had kind of, I was pretty let down about it, and I kind of beat myself up for it. Anyway, that was July 4th is the day that we started that hike, and since then I finished around the 9th or 10th or so, I think is about the time that I got off the trail. And honestly, since then I have not been on a hike whatsoever. Actually, some of my gear, I went through and put all my gear up after that hike. But some of the things like the little ditty bag and stuff like that, I never even went through that stuff until just a few days ago. I did make a video and talk about what happened kind of during the hike and just everything related around that. And I just, like I said, I hadn't really been up for any other hiking, backpacking. Definitely haven't been worried about making any more backpacking gear videos or anything like that. I even went as far as selling my tent. As some of you may know, the tent that I was using, and I've been using for a lot of years, and I really did like, was the Zpacks Hexamed Solo Plus tarp with the Hexanet, the Solo Plus Hexanet underneath it. And I absolutely love that setup. I've used it for a lot of years, and it's been a really, really great setup. I love that it was modular, that I could set up either the inside or the Hexanet or the tarp by itself. I love that it was double wall. It kept me away from that outer wall, so I never even worried about condensation on the inside of my tent or anything like that. It was lightweight. I think it was under 20 ounces for everything, including stakes and of course the everything. I mean, it was just for me, it worked really well. The one thing that I've always been just a little disappointed with about that setup, though, is the entry height on the tarp. It's been pretty short, so I've always just kind of sat down and kind of scooted in or kind of crawled in or something like that. If that setup would have had an opening on the tarp as tall as the opening on the Hexanet, there's no doubt in my mind that that would still be the setup I'd use, and by all means the only setup that I really want. Now, saying that, a lot of people have asked me over the years, what tent would I recommend? Now, the thing is that's the tent that I recommended for a long time. But Zpacks didn't make the Hexanet. So I'd always tell people, as far as what's available on the market today, my choice of tent would be the Duplex. I've been intrigued by the Duplex since the time it came out, since Zpacks first, but I can't even remember how long it's been now. It's been out there for a while. But I've really been intrigued by that tent. Lightweight, easy to set up, two-person tent, and I've just always liked it, and so that's the tent that I always tell people, if I couldn't get the tent that I had, this is the tent that I would get, was the Duplex. So as I said, after my JMT attempt hike, I ended up selling my tent just because I think just with my feeling, how I was not feeling good, and then just, I don't know, I was disappointed in a lot of things, and then just having to get down and crawl inside that tent, I don't know, it just, for some reason, something crossed the line for me. When I came back, I knew that I was done with that tent. And like I said, if that opening on the tarp was just a little bit taller, kind of like on their Ultimplex or one of the other Plex tents, how they have the real tall opening, if that would have been it on that Hexamed tarp, would have been it. Anyway, so I ended up selling it. So at first I was like, you know what, that's fine. I've got some other copper spur UL2 tent. If I go on a backpacking trip, I'll just carry that. And then I started planning the backpacking trip for this May. It's going to be a pretty simple trip. It's just going to be the first part of the AT, about 30 miles or so. Just something to get out there and do another hike on, just to get out there and enjoy being outside. But then I started thinking, I don't really want to carry that tent. It's kind of heavy. It's a little over 3 pounds because mine is an older version. So I started thinking about the Duplex. Long story short, I saved some money up and I decided to go for the Duplex. Sorry about my dogs. So anyway, so that's what this video is about. Now I do want to say that I'm not going to go through like all the details about the duplex. The duplex has been out there long enough and enough people have the duplex that any kind of information you want about the duplex is out there. This video is really just my way of saying, look what I got. Not trying to rub it in or anything, but it's more so I've been such a huge fan of the setup that I had, and then now look what I've got. Of course it's Z-Packs. I still love my Z-Packs gear. I think that they just make some really good gear, and their gear just tends to suit me. So that's what I went with. So this video is really going to be just more of kind of like an unboxing. I'm going to take it out of the box. Sorry, keep having to do cuts because my dogs are barking uncontrollably. Anyway, so this video, really just want to kind of take it out of the box, show you out of the box. Like I said, this video has been done, I'm sure, 100,000 times by a lot of different people. But just take it out, get some weights on it, then I'm going to take it outside, set it up, and just kind of give you some random thoughts. Now, a couple of things I do want to say. The ends of the duplex have tie-outs on them. And so one thing that I want to do is I've never really been a fan of just those side tie-outs, just pulling them down. To me, it seems like it's just kind of pulling down on the tent, and it's not really making good use of what it could make use of. So I have one of these. This is just some kind of little, I forget what Z-Packs called it. I bought this. I've had this thing for probably 2 years, just sitting in a gear closet, and I dug it out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tie one end of this to the a piece of cord that goes to the side tie out on the tent, and then the other end I'm going to put just a cord on it, and that way I can prop something up under this and it'll actually pull up one edge of the tent and just give me a little more headroom. So I am going to add this on, and since this is a 2-pole tent, that's always been one thing I've really loved about my Hexamed, was that it's just used one pole. The duplex uses 2. So I won't have an extra trekking pole to prop this up with. So what I'm going to do, I just had some random poles back there. This is a, it's about a 20, I'm going to say 27.5 inch in length. It's just a carbon fiber pole. I don't remember where it came from or what it was for. But anyway, I have this. It weighs exactly 1 ounce. So I'm going to give this a try, see if this is going to be long enough. If this isn't long enough, this is just some aluminum poles here. And I don't have a keeper cord or anything on it, but this is actually 32 inches in length, and I'm going to see how this one does. This one weighs 1.2 ounces, and like I said, this one weighs 1 ounce, and it actually has a keeper cord. So I'm just going to try those out and see what I think about those. As far as stakes, this is just one of the Z-Packs stake sacks, and I have 2 MSR carbon cores, and I have 6 Lawson Klein old school shepherd hooks. And that's generally what I'll be using. So just to give you some weights, like I said, those poles, 1 or 1.2 ounces depending on what I use. And for all the stakes and the stake sack, I'm coming in at 1.8 ounces. And these are the exact same stakes that I've used for the last several years with my other setup. The only thing is I can actually carry 2 less than what I was using with my other setup. So anyway, I'm sure that I'm already have lots of comments on this video saying, God, it took him 10 minutes to open the box. You know what? Thanks for watching. Let me open the box. Alright, so this is it. This is it as it comes shipped. To be quite honest, I don't know what is in here. As far as I understand, all of the guidelines and everything now comes cut, at least on the duplex, and I could be wrong. I'll find out in a minute when I go outside. But as far as I understand, all of these already come cut and attached to the tarp, or the tent. So that's one thing that I shouldn't have to worry about whenever I set it up. I know with my other ones, when I would take it outside, I would have to go out there and cut all my lines, tie the loops, burn the corners, and attach them. So it doesn't look like I have to do that. And according to these instructions that's in the bags, it says guy lines are pre-cut and attached for you. Line locks are sewn in place for adjusting the lines. If you choose to switch out your lines for a different cord, these are the default lengths. And it's just got lengths and stuff for what you can cut other cords to. So that's pretty cool, so I don't have to worry about that. So then, like I said, I'm just going to take this and see what it comes in at on the scale. They're listed on the website at 19 ounces. So let me see what this says out of the box. All right, it comes in at 1.33 ounces. So that will be 19.3 ounces. 16, 17. Yeah, 19.3 ounces. So it's pretty much on the money. And like I said, I don't know if there's any other paperwork or anything in there, but 19.3 ounces for that. Let me just, I'm going to have that. That's 19.34 now. My stakes, it is, let me do the math in my head, 21.2 ounces is what I'm coming to. And if I use this one here, it pushed it to 22.3 ounces. So 22.3 ounces, that is just under 1.5 pounds. So that's not too bad. Of course, that doesn't take into consideration a ground sheet. I've typically always been a fan of using a ground sheet, so I may throw in a ground sheet too, I'm not sure. But anyway, I'm going to quit talking. I'm going to go outside and get this set up, and then I'll set the camera up and just kind of give you a look around a tent that you're already familiar with, I'm sure, because like I said, there are so many out there on the market. This tent's a popular tent for a good reason, because it just works. Probably, as far as a specified two-person tent, it's probably one of the most popular two-person tents that there are, I would say. So, all right, I'll see you outside. All right, so there it is. Just as I suspected, setting this thing up was super easy. I actually laid it down, staked out all four corners. I set one of my trekking poles, put it up on this side, guided this guy line out over here, went and did the same thing on the other side, and it was set up. Didn't even have to make any adjustments, didn't have to move any of my corner stakes or anything like that. These are very easy tents to set up, and that's one reason I was kind of intrigued by it, because it's really just four corners and then two sides. It's a very easy tent to set up. But anyway, so this is it set up. Just so you're wondering, this is the olive drab. I'm a fan of the olive drab and the white colors. Not real big on the camo. The spruce green looks fine, but it's a little bit heavier and a little bit more costly. This is the 0.51 ounce Cuben fiber here, or DCF, whatever you want to call it nowadays. But this is the 0.51. In my opinion, especially for the amount of time that I get out, the 0.51 is just fine. As you can see, I did on this end, I just went and got another piece of guy line. I just tied a little short piece of guy line there, put the little pocket up there, and then that's the actual piece of guy line that was attached to it. So I'm probably going to shorten that. And I think that I'm going to go ahead and pick up another one of those pockets sometime and put on the other side just to have it. And I don't know if it's going to pick it up in the video here, but this is the head end, and it's probably not doing it much justice there. But this is the foot end, and you can see this is hanging down pretty good. Let's see how kind of, I don't think that's going to do much, but that's with it hanging down, and that's by putting tension on it. So it does a good job. But I really do think that I may add do this setup over here the same way, and then that way while I'm out on the trail, I can just find a piece of, or a stick or something like that, and just use to prop up on this other side. But as long as I can at least prop up my head end, I think that it'll be good. And I don't know if you can see, it's kind of propped up there versus there. Anyway, super excited about this tent. One thing I'm going to do, I have some, this is this 3mm glow line from Lawson Klein. I've had this for a long time. I'm probably going to change this out on these corner pieces, just because I like the glow wire. I like to have that visibility at night when a light or something hits it. I also have some black in there, I think, that I could do. But anyway, Zpacks duplex. Definitely not anything that's astounding nowadays, because they're so common. But for me, it's kind of a shocker. All these years since they've came out, I said that would be the one I would get if I didn't have what I have. Now I didn't have what I had, so I've got what I got, which is the duplex. Anyway, I do plan on going to the kickoff in a couple of weeks, AT kickoff, and my wife and I will both be sharing this shelter. So I really look forward to that. That'll probably be our first night that we sleep in it. And then after that, like I said, I've got a hike coming up towards the end of May. or sometime in May. Anyway, guys, I appreciate you watching. Like I said, I know it's been a long time since I made videos. For all those that hung in there with me, I appreciate it. For anybody that's new watching, feel free to check out some of my older videos. Just keep in mind they are older videos, so now they're probably kind of a bit somewhat obsolete. Also, I do want to mention, inside that packaging, I did have the repair tape. That was the only other thing in there, so that would probably knock off about at least 1/10 of an ounce or so. So I'll get another weight, and as I made it in this video, I'll put a final weight with everything as it is. All right, guys, thanks for watching.